Yo, so it's raining, so I can't go for my walk. I was gonna go to my spot, but I just got some McDonald's breakfast, and I'm like, I'll just go back home. But let me see if I can get this done quickly. All right, so here's the story. I think I bit my tongue, but anyway, so yesterday was a great day. I enjoyed my walk, and yeah, it's a great day. I came home, whatever. I was watching The Umbrella Academy. It was a great day overall. I mean, it is what it is. Not like a super wonderful day, but good vibes. I'm gonna work on my streaming for the thing, whatever. So today's Thursday. So Tuesday night, my dad asked me. On Wednesday, he said, "Tomorrow, can you explain some of the mail that's coming?" Because he's in the program now, so he gets a lot of mail. A lot of it, it's just like, "Hey, welcome to the program." Like, he doesn't have to do anything with these. They just send so many letters. I don't know why. And then because he's in the program, he's on the list. So other programs are like, "You want to join our program? Just fill this out and send it." But it's like, you're not in that program. You're just whatever. And then he gets I think I mentioned this, but my mom had a credit card. She passed away, and now his name is on the credit card, and the credit card bill comes to him. And this has been a thing since my mom passed in January. So it literally was. They said my mom's name, and then after, I think when you pass away and you make the phone calls, eventually people know, companies know, and then they act accordingly. So in this case, they just put the other name that was on the account, which was my father's, took her name off, put his name on. Now he gets the bill since January. And he was so we called them, and it's just like, "Yo, why is this happening?" And they're like, which I guess that makes sense. So my default is, all right, if that's the case, then send us a little letter saying where that states that. And like, we can't do that. Why can't you do that? Because we don't. And so that was January. February, and they're like, all right, we'll look into it and we'll send you some information. But February, March, April, May. So I'm at the house. I always get the phone calls, and I'll be like, "He's not here, or he's sleeping." And they're like, "We'll call back." Finally, they're like, "Do you want us to take you off the call list?" And I'm like, cause I was like, you call every day. I pick up the phone. So like, "Yeah, we'll take you off the call list." And they haven't called. I'm like, that's easy. But the letters keep coming, and every time my dad gets a letter, he gets all like nervous or worried. And at some point, he mentioned it to my brother, and my brother said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." Let's say that was February. "Don't worry, I'll take care of it." And in a TV show, the studio audience would have went, "Oh," and then it would have faded to black, and then the theme music would come on, and it's done. But this is real life. So February, March, April, May, June. The letters keep coming. And multiple times, my dad would be like fussing about it, and my brother like, don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it, I'll take care of it. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. And yeah, so all right, so that's a backdrop, the recap. So yesterday, after I come back from my walk and after I'm in my mom's room going through her old paperwork, her bills or whatever. And my dad's question is, why is he on the account name? And at the bare minimum, because you're married to the woman and you have a joint account, so that's what they did. So I found paperwork from 2003, 2006, 2014, 2019, and then 2021, where their names are on the same account for the same credit card. Now, if my dad would have passed away, then my mom would, keep paying the bill. It wouldn't have been an issue, but she passed away, so now. And so I collect all these things to kind of make a case like, you have always been in the same account. It's just for whatever reason mom never told you. She told me she had a credit card. I knew. I think everyone knew, but my dad, I think he had one credit card in his life, and he's like anti-credit card, which is a good thing. Who wants to have credit cards charging you crazy amounts for that little piece of gum that you just had to have, end up paying $20 for a $5 piece of gum? But so I'm trying to make a chronological case. Your names are here, and I'm circling like, you see, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's here. There's even like a debit card in my mom's, like an old debit card, and I'm like, it even had like where you rip it off. And I was just kind of like, here's her credit card, here's your name on the paper, but on this card itself, your name's not on there. And then my dad, he starts getting upset, angry. I don't know anything about the credit card and blah blah blah, and I'm like, listen, it's I don't know either, but this is the facts. So then he says, you should talk to your brother about this. And I'm like, you heard what he said, he'll take care of it. And he didn't take care of it. So what do you want me to do about it? And he's like, talk to your brother. And I'm like, so now I'm just like, it's frustrating. And I keep reiterating, you heard him say, he said, I will take care of it. And he's like, we're just going back and forth. And it's like, if you took care of it, we wouldn't be going back and forth. And so then he says, okay, if you want me to go to jail. So I'm like, you don't go to jail for credit card fraud or all that stuff, but not paying your credit card, they're just going to harass you for a couple. And I'm the one who's going to pick up the phone, so don't. And it's just frustrating because if I had the money in my pocket right now, I would pay it right now, but I don't. And so then like he says something like, because I have all the, like, our banks change names and whatever, but the account numbers is always the same. He's like, it's not even the same thing I'm talking about. And I'm like, what are you talking about? They're two different numbers. And I'm like, give me 3 minutes. I didn't need 3 minutes, but give me 3 minutes. And so I look, and there's the account number on this paper. I circle the last 4. And here's the account on this paper. I circle the last 4. I say, it's the same thing. He's like, no, it's not the same thing. And then he's like, and then he goes up and he walks away, and he comes back, and then he says, I'm not as smart as you. I think that's an insult to me. I think it's meant as a compliment. But the more and more I think about the people who tell me that I'm not as smart as you, I feel like that's an insult. Or that's the result. Because if you're saying somebody is smart, then you would kind of defer to what they're saying. right? That makes sense. But if you're saying it, it's kind of maybe it's the opposite. I'm not as dumb as you. Either way, I hear it a lot in Japan, in America, all the time, and it's just a dumb thing to say. Don't be telling me you're not as smart as me. Like, I'm not as tall as you. I'm not as patient as I'm not you and you're not me. So why would you be as equal in that area? Like we all have different gifts and talents and weaknesses and flaws. So we were at a standstill. So I went upstairs and I started reading a book that my ex-girlfriend sent to me when I was leaving Japan. And the first thing the book was saying is that people are kind. Yeah, so here's the book. And it more or less is, I only read the first chapter, but it's just like, people tend to think the worst of people, but in reality, people want to be good. Which, it's a hard, like, and this is where I was mentioning before, normally I wouldn't pick up that book. And normally I wouldn't even continue with reading that book because it's like going against what I think. But because a friend of mine read it and a friend of mine gave it to me, I'm going to go through it. And at the end of it, even though I might be fighting it the whole time, I will turn the pages and then eventually parts of it will kind of make sense and other parts will be just buried in my subconscious. Most people don't read. So if after I read this book, I might have a different outlook. I might be a little bit different than I was before I read it. And I come up to someone and I might say whatever, I might paraphrase or just reference this book, and they're like, "Oh, never thought of that. You think differently." We'll read different books. Anyway, so there's one in the early page. It says it said news. Here, I'm gonna read it directly from the book. You know how I am about news, right? And I doubt I could find it so easy. No, I only read one page. Let's see. All right, here. It says. All right, so it makes this. It sets it up like this. It goes. Imagine for a moment that a new drug comes into the market and is super addictive, and in no time everyone is hooked. Scientists investigate and soon conclude that the drug causes misperception of risk, anxiety, lower mood levels, learned helplessness, contempt, and hostility towards others, and desensitization. Whatever. Would we use this drug? Would our kids be allowed to try it? Would governments legalize it? So you're probably like, no. Or maybe you're like, yeah. And then it goes on to say, that drug is news. Like, it's right here, written in a random. And this was in 1990. He coined the George Gerbner. Anyway, so and it goes on to say, like, they want us to watch the news so they could. But as I mentioned, news is always on in my house in the morning and at night. Although it wasn't on this morning, which brings me to the rest. So I wake up and I see it's raining, which means I can't go for my walk. And I take a shower. I go into the kitchen. I see my dad. I say good morning. He says good morning. And like the air of the room is not good. Again, if this was like television, maybe I would be the bigger man and say, Dad, I'm sorry that I'm sorry that I don't even know what I would be sorry. I'm sorry that I guess I'm sorry that I wasn't patient. And I'm sorry I wasn't patient in explaining the situation. Although I don't feel that because the situation is black and white. But again, I'm sorry that I'm unable to. I'm not sure. But let's just say I led with that. I'm sorry that I wasn't patient. And then my dad said, well, son, time's been hard since your mom passed away. And I'm sorry that sometimes I may be difficult. I said, no, Dad, sometimes I am difficult. And I said, no, you're difficult. And then we hugged it out, and then the studio audience, and then cue the music. And then the comedic person, the Waldo, the Urkel, the Jazz from Will Smith or Cole from Martin. There's always someone, JJ from Good Times. Some comic relief person comes in and they say something stupid and then we all laugh and cue the music. And it fades to black. Like, I wish that would have happened. But it didn't happen. It probably won't happen. Because that's just not the reality of my house. But yeah. But anyway, that's my story. It's not a good story. It's not a good day. But I'm alive and I'm gonna keep pushing forward and yeah. There's a lot of ways you can be returned to the earth.